Hey guys, Sovereign Saurus here, welcome to a new video. Today I have 10 new sovereigns, they're half sovereigns, but 10 new half sovereigns to add to the stack. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how I test my gold at home, and we're just going to go through some real simple tests, so nothing complicated. You don't need any expensive fancy equipment here. These are just some simple at home tests. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just look at the coins. We're not talking up a detailed look, we're just talking like a very broad, across the room kind of look. Do they look roughly like what they should? Now, if I were to add this one, which is obviously not half sovereign, I'm going to see straight away something just looks, a little bit off. There's a bit of an anomaly. So I know straight away that is not what it should be. Okay, so that's my broad look across the room. Does the colour look, roughly okay? It does. There is some variation in colours of sovereigns, especially different ages. We've obviously got the more modern copper-looking coins compared to these nice yellowy George and Edwards. So the reason I bought half sovereigns, actually, they came up at a very good price. In terms of spot, it was like 60 pence per coin over spot, about $1 over spot. So, well, what's that with premium? It's less than 1%, over spot. It's basically spot, isn't it? So I couldn't really say no, and that was to buy all 10 of these. Now, the next test I would do is, I've looked at them just broadly across the room. I'm going to just go quickly through them and just see if they look like what they should. So, in general, like some real easy things to remember, you want to check the date. So on the sovereign, the date is going to be down here on the typical design for these years. So if the date is not there, then that's immediate red flag. I'm going to check the portrait. So I want to make sure that Edward was on these coins in that year, which is 1910. And just make sure that the sovereign exists. So we're starting to look a little bit closer, but still not going crazy. You don't need a magnifying glass or anything like that. So these are all 1900s, to 1915, like pre-First World War, roughly. Like I say, I just bought them as bullion. I knew they were these kind of years, but at the price I got them from, I was not being fussy. So next I've done that, I'm going to basically weigh them. So I weighed all these coins on a digital scale, and that showed me that a half sovereign is 3.99 grams, and that's the total weight. Obviously the fine weight is less than that because they are a 22 carat coin. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity actually to show the sovereign balance I've got here in the background. So I've had a couple of people ask what it is in other videos and just ask to see it. So this is a half sovereign. You'll see there's two different positions. Now this does three different things. So first of all, it weighs it. The sovereign on here has to balance. So if it was to bottom out like this, it's too heavy. If it was to bottom out like this, it's too light. And if it wasn't going to fit in this area, then the diameter would be wrong. So as you can see, it's going to steadily come to a halt. But anyway, I won't bore you waiting for that. And the final thing you can do with this is check the thickness. So these are a bit of an old school thing. I didn't buy it as a genuine testing device for now. Although it is, it's a bit of more of an antique and just the novelty for me. So you've got the diameter. Check the thickness, diameter, and weight. So digital scales, I checked the weight of all the coins, so I knew that 10 of them should be around just under 40 grams, and they were. And then I obviously checked them individually as well. So being half sovereigns are obviously a bit smaller than a full sovereign. Just for comparison, in case you haven't seen them together, the left is a full sovereign, the right is a half sovereign. So a half sovereign is not half the diameter, it's actually only about 85–90% of the diameter. See, it's not that much smaller. So when I first saw a half sovereign, I thought it was quite big compared to what I was expecting, because I was expecting half of this. Compared to a 10th ounce, this is much bigger in terms of diameter. So I do like the half sovereigns for that reason. Now, you might just have heard that little ring. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put the coin up on here like this. I'm just going to give it a flick. So you might not hear this on the camera, but let's try. Going again. And let me just do it with a full sovereign. You get that nice little ring. I'll just do it with a 50% silver coin. You hear this, the ring is totally different. And now this is a replica fake sovereign. It's not real. It isn't the right size. It's the right diameter, but it's too heavy and it's too thick. So let me just also listen to this. You can't hear anything, it's just a flat sound. If I just rattle it on the desk, see how it's like a very dense, heavy sound. So if you've got a number of sovereigns and you just try them, there's a half, there's a full, half, half. You can just hear the ring, you know, there's a bit of a ring compared to this totally flat sound. So those are some of the basic tests. I'm going to weigh the coins, I'm going to have a general look, I'm going to check the thickness, check the diameter, and then next what I would do to go in a bit more detail is take a real close look at the coin, you know, make sure the design is as it should be, and then on the sovereign, on these years, just above the 1911 you would see the mint mark if there was one. So because there's no mint mark, it means it's a London minted sovereign. And I'm going to basically check to see that this coin exists. So all I'm going to do is go onto my favourite search engine. I'm going to put 1911 half sovereign, and I'm going to just search it on the internet and see some pictures of it. So I'll go to the images and I want to see just different dealers' pictures of the coin. Make sure it's got the same portrait as what mine has. Make sure it's obviously got the same side on this side. Make sure it's got the same design. So, for example, if you have a 2012 sovereign that looks like this, it's going to be, first of all, the colour is going to be off. The monarch is going to be 100 years out of date. And you'll see that the 2012 had a special design. So, there's one handy. There's a 2012. So, if you see, you know, the Georgian dragon design on 2012, you know that something is very, very wrong with your coin. So in the past, and even now actually, certain coins carry a bit of a premium because they're more rare or more desirable, you know, whatever it might be. So some years of sovereigns would carry that bit of premium, and in the past, you know, you could have taken a gold sovereign, let's say that 2001 was a special year. I don't think it was, but let's just say 2001 was a really special year, and you've got a 2000 sovereign, and you change the date on it convincingly. You've still got a real genuine gold sovereign made of the same gold content, only the date has been changed to, you know, gain some numismatic value. So that is probably the hardest thing to detect. Or if someone were to make the gold sovereign, but they were to make it out of, instead of 22 carat, maybe they make it out of 17 carat. You know, something like that. Maybe they change the alloy. So between doing all the different tests, you're usually able to figure out whether there's, you know, some sort of issue with the coin and whether the coin exists in the first place. And to go for, you know, final like peace of mind, you could obviously take it to a jeweler or a bullion dealer, and they might have something like an XRF machine, and they could use that to analyse what the composition of the metal is without scratching it and damaging it and acid testing and things like that. There's also the Sigma metal testers, which some people rate them, you know, some people don't. But again, if you've got a coin that can pass all these tests, you know, it's probably going to be genuine, you know, chances are. So I have made a video recently about where I buy my gold from to, you know, buy from reputable dealers and things like that. So if you check out that video as well, that should eliminate most of the problems. But otherwise, those are the tests I do at home. And, you know, regardless of where I buy from, it's good to be prudent and good to check. And it helps you learn a bit more about the coins. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if I missed anything. We'll talk to you soon.